We're going inside the toy box with Wall-E. So let's get cracking! Hello, all my explorers, and welcome back to Loren's Adventures Out There. And if you're new, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. My name is Loren, and I'm with Castles, Capes, and Clones, where we discuss everything in the Disney universe. We talk Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, The Muppets, 20th Century, National Geographic, Disney Plus, ABC, Hulu. If it's about Disney, we are talking about it. So if you like that kind of content, we would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to our channel, hit the bell for notifications, and do like this post, as it really does help us out. So we are continuing our series Inside the Toy Box, which is our look at the films of Pixar Animation Studios in chronological order. And today we are going to be talking about 2008's Wall-E. Wall-E tells a tale of two robots who fall in love. One lives alone on a post-apocalyptic Earth, and the other is scouting plant life. The two end up on an adventure before foiling the plot of a nefarious villain. Andrew Stanton suggested this story at the famed lunch that we've talked about before, where John Lasseter, Pete Docter, Stanton himself, and Joe Ranft dreamed up several future stories. Stanton and Docter went off to develop the story, but they couldn't quite figure out the plot, and Docter ended up going to direct Monsters, Inc. Stanton also kind of put aside the project to go work on Finding Nemo, but then picked it up again, and Stanton and Lasseter discussed Wall-E falling in love, and the plot started falling in place. At one point, Eve, the robot sent to Earth to look for signs of plant life, was going to be sent by aliens called gels, and it would turn out that these would be a gelatinous race that humans evolved into due to the atrophy of space travel. But they eventually decided to scrap that idea. Wall-E was the most complex story to develop since Monsters, Inc., where Pixar films usually use up to 75,000 storyboards. Wall-E needed 125,000. Production designer Ralph Eggleston designed the different environments to contrast. Earth, despite being in ruins, would be more warm and romantic, while the ship, the Axiom, would be colder and sterile. They studied Chernobyl and Sofia to design the new Earth. Stanton wanted to give the lighting a real live-action look, and experts came in to help teach the animators how to give that film that look. They even created a three-dimensional Wall-E so they could test the lighting. The Axiom was based on Shanghai and Dubai with their sleek looks. Eggleston also studied early drawings for Tomorrowland at Disneyland and 1960s NASA paintings to capture the optimism of the era. Eggleston divided the inside of the ship into three sections. The rear's economy class would be more dark, would have a gray concrete texture, and it would also have a lot of graphics with the red, blue, and white theme of the B&L logo. The coach class had living and shopping spaces with an S shape because people were always looking for, quote, what's around the corner, unquote. The premier class was more zen and had more calming colors like turquoise, cream, and tan. Stanton saw two types of robots. one being more like an android, think C-3PO, and the other being more machine-like, think R2-D2. He went with the latter because he felt that people would project a cuter personality on them like they would a pet. He wanted Wally to look more like a box and Eve to look more like an egg. To animate them, animators studied and watched Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin movies every day for a year. Wally's cockroach friend was named Hal after silent film producer Hal Roach. Ben Burtt, who had worked on Star Wars films, was brought on as sound designer because of Stanton's constant references to R2-D2. While Burt had swore off films with robots for a while, he was intrigued by Wally. He recorded 2,500 sounds for the film, which was twice the average number for a Star Wars film, and this was also a record for his career. Burt used many of the tools from Disney's legendary soundman Jimmy McDonald. He also worked in tandem with animators to get the sound right, which was a different experience for him as he was used to adding sound in post-production. Burt used a hand-cranked electrical generator from 1950, which he bought on eBay, to use for Wally's moving around. He also used an automobile self-starter to make Wally go fast, and the sound of cars being wrecked at a demolition derby to provide for Wally's compressing trash in his body. The Macintosh computer chime was used for Wally when he was fully recharged, and for Eve, Burt wanted her humming to have a musical quality. He was only able to provide neutral or masculine voices, so they asked Pixar employee Alyssa Knight to use her voice. Sandin liked her voice, and they decided to cast her in the role. Burt also recorded a flying 10-foot-long radio-controlled jet plane for Eve's flying, and her plasma cannon was a slinky hung on a ladder with a timpani stick. And he described this as the cousin of a blaster from Star Wars. Macintosh, which was the early Apple voice recognition sound, was used because he wanted the villain Otto to be like the epitome of a robot, cold zeros and ones, calculating and soulless, and Stephen Hawking's kind of voice that he thought was perfect. Thomas Newman was brought on board for music as he worked quite well with Stanton on Finding Nemo. Songs from Hello Dolly were used to show the more romanticized side of Wall-E. Hello Dolly composer Jerry Herman agreed for Pixar to use his music without actually knowing what it was for. And then when he saw the finished project, he thought it was genius the way that they incorporated it. Box office wise, Wall-E grossed a worldwide total of $532.5 million, and it was Pixar's third best opening weekend after Finding Nemo and The Incredibles. Critically, it scored 95% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, with critical consensus stating, Wall-E's stellar visuals testify once again to Pixar's ingenuity, while its charming star will captivate younger viewers, and its timely story offers thought-provoking subtext. Wall-E won the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature and was nominated for Best Original Screenplay, Best Original Score, Best Original Song, Sound Editing, and Sound Mixing. So what did I think of Wall-E? Well, I like Wally a lot. I like the robots. Like I love Wally. I love Eve. I love the whole love story. Where it starts getting kind of weird for me is when they go on the ship and all of the people who have been sitting there and they're floating around in their chairs, and I don't know, like it slowed the story down to me, or like it made it less whatever. Like I know that they wanted to, put Eve in danger so that Wally could rescue her. I just felt like there was maybe something better. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I mean, there's a good message in there about environmentalism and about, not becoming so complacent in life. And I like those messages, but at the same time, I don't know. I just love so much the part where they're on Earth together and they're starting to fall in love. That to me was just beautiful, and I felt the rest of the film kind of disrupted that. I don't know what I would have done otherwise, but I like it overall. I think that it's a great film, and I understand why people like it. I would probably put it in the middle of my ranking of Pixar films. So anyway, what did you think of Wally? Did you watch it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed yourself today, we would love it if you would subscribe to our channel, hit the bell for notifications, and do like this post, as it really does help us out. Visit us on all of our socials down below, and visit our website at www.castlescapesandclones.com. Thank you so much, everybody, and we will see you later. Bye!